Hare Krishna. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Radha Nata Radha Radha Nata Radhe. Jai Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrakacharya Asata Sara Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrakacharya Asata Sara Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radharadhanath ki jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 9, Canto 4, chapter 9, text 24 and 25. Sorry, 19. Chapter 19. So let's recite the verse. Evam Indra Harati Ashvam Venya Yagya Jigamsaya Tadgrita Riteshu Pakandeshu Matirninam Dharma iti upadharmeshu Nagna Rakta Patadishu Payena Sajate Brantya Paleshu Cha Vigamshmishu. Do you have the second verse or just the first one? And the sheets? 24 only. Okay. Evam Indri Harati Ashvam Venyayagya Jigamsaya Tadgrihita Virshiteshu Pakandeshu Matirninam Evam indre hirati ashram Venya yagya jigamsaya Tadgrihita vristeshu Pakandeshu matirninam Evam indre hirati ashram Venya yagya jigamsaya Tadgrihite vristeshu Pakandeshu matirninam. Can you repeat? Indra Devati Vishwams Venya Yagya Vamshaya Tagrihita Vriteshu Pakandeshu Matirnina Indra Harati Vishwam Venya Yagya Jigamsaya Tadgritam Visrideshu Pakandeshu Matirnina Evam Indriya Harati Asham Venya Yagya Jigamsaya Tadgrihita Virsideshu Pakandeshu Matirninam. Evam Indriya Harati Ashram Venya Yagya Jigamsaya Tadgrihite Virsideshu Pakandeshu Matirnina. So let's do the word for word. Evam, thus, Indra, when the king of heaven, Harati, stole, Ashvam, the horse, Venya, of the son of King Vena, Yagya, the sacrifice, Jigamsaya, with desire to stop. Tat, by him. Grihite, accepted. Visristeshu, abandoned. Pakandeshu, towards the sinful dress. Matihi, attraction. Nirnam, of great people in general. Dharma, system of religion. Iti, thus. Upadharmeshu, towards false religious systems. Nagna, naked. Raktapata, red-robed. Adheshu, etc. Prayena, generally. Saje, is attractive. Brantya, foolishly. Pesaleshu, expert. Cha, and. Vagmishu, eloquent. So the translation is as follows. In this way, King Indra, in order to steal the horse from Prithu sacrifice, adopted several orders of sannyas. Some sannyasis go naked, some sannyasis, they wear red garments, and some pass under the name Kapilika. They are simply symbolic representations of their sinful activities. These so-called sannyasis are very much appreciated by sinful men because they are all godless, atheists, and very expert in putting forward arguments and reasons to support their case. We must know, however, that they are only passing as adherents of religion and not so in fact. Unfortunately, bewildered persons accept them as religious, and being attracted to them, they spoil their lives. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, men in this age are short-lived, devoid of spiritual knowledge, and susceptible to accept false religious systems due to their unfortunate condition. Thus, they always remain mentally disturbed. The Vedic Shastras practically prohibit the adoption of sannyas in the age of Kali because less intelligent men may accept the sannyas order for cheating purposes. Actually, the only religion is the religion of surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must serve the Lord in Krishna consciousness. All other systems of sannyas and religion are actually not bona fide. In this age, they are simply passing for religious systems. This is most regrettable. So we'll try to say something on this verse and purport. Om Jnanati Mirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchikalpatarubhescha Kripasindubhevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So we see in this verse, Maharaj did touch upon this topic yesterday about false renunciation, and people put on the garb of a sannyasi, in order to cheat people in the age of Kali Yuga. So we must be very wary of this fact that, there are false renunciates out there who just, for the sake of making money, put on the garb of a sannyasi and go out begging to collect money. Especially this is prevalent in India, not so much in South Africa, but in South Africa there's different forms and systems of actually cheating the public, right? So so this is Kali Yuga after all, and Maharaj Yudhisthira was posed some questions, on the different item or different things that was actually being seen by some person, by a sadhu, and he wanted to, understand what are these things, because this is prevalent in the age of Kali, and this was now Dwapara Yuga, that the Lord was here and the Pandavas were here, and coming into the age of Kali. So in this way, he went to King Yudhisthira to ask him, about these questions, and Bhima was present at the door as the gatekeeper, and he says, no, you cannot just go and visit the king like this, And he says, but I have some very important questions to ask. And then he says, okay, you can ask me. I can answer your questions. So he says, okay. So the first question was that I saw in a field surrounded by a fence. I saw a field surrounded by a fence, and it was basically like caving in, coming closer and closer, and the field was basically getting smaller and smaller. What is the meaning of this? And Bhima said, and he thought for a while, and he says, I can't figure this out. I don't know. So then the sadhu said, please, can I go and ask King Yudhisthira? He should have the answers to these questions. Because remember, Yudhisthira is Dharmaraj. He's the son of Yamaraj, basically. So, he knows all of these things. So he went to King Yudhisthira, and Yudhisthira he asked Yudhisthira, what is the meaning of this, that I saw a field and the fence was caving in. And Yudhisthira said, yes, in the age of Kali, men will be like this, the governmental heads will be like this. They are meant to protect the citizens, but they will basically steal from the citizens. And whatever is there, my taxes and different things, they would actually steal from the citizens. So basically there's no protection for the citizens, because those who are meant to protect will actually be stealing from them. So the sadhu was satisfied by this, and he says, okay, that's very, very nice. But I have another question. He said, I saw somebody, pour water into 8 jugs, and when he tried to pour this water back into the container, it was less. So how come? What's the connotation to this? And Yudhisthira said, yes, you will give love in this age of Kali. You will give love, and you will do your best to try to satisfy someone, and you will go out of your way to please somebody, but there isn't any gratitude in this age of Kali. There isn't any gratitude. So we see that this is happening nowadays, that parents, they do so much for their children. They go out of their way to support their kids. And when the kids grow up, they just leave home and they don't care for the parents. They put the parents in the old age homes like this. And in this way, the parents have actually sacrificed everything for their kids. Sometimes there's no food to eat, and the mother would basically not eat and give her children to eat, and she would starve. And in this way, she made so many sacrifices for the children, but when the children grow up, they abandon their parents, and they do their own thing. So we see that family structures have fallen in this age of Kali Yuga. There's no family structures in place, and in this way, we have all these ingratitude coming in, right? So the ingratitude to the parents, like this. So, so then he asked, another question. He says, I saw the elephant go through an eye of a needle, but the tail got stuck. What's the symbol of this? The elephant went through the eye of the needle, but the tail got stuck. And Yudhisthira said, yes, in the age of Kali, there'll be big thieves, huge thieves, and they will go out scot-free, right? But the little ones will get jailed. But the big ones, like we find, in today's world, the big governmental personalities or heads of state, they are stealing like huge amounts of money, and they're going scot-free. But an ordinary thief on the road, him. Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai. So we find that, sometimes people, they have no money to support their families, or they may go to, a departmental store and steal something, But there's cameras all over, right? And just to support their families, they may do this, but they are the thieves that get caught. So, just to put food on the table, they may not be able to work, or whatever the circumstances are, and if they steal like this, then they get caught. So in this way, we find that the huge politicians and people on the highest statuses of life, they will steal big time from the public, and they will go off scot-free like this. But those who are, little thieves, they will get caught. So in this way, Yudhisthira was able to satisfy the sadhu's question. And there were more other questions that was posed to Maharaj Yudhisthira. Once when they were in a forest, and they were very, very thirsty. So Nakul, one of the brothers, the younger brother of the Pandavas, he says, let me go and look for some water. So he climbed up the tree, and he was like looking out, where he can find water. And then he saw a lake. It's a very beautiful forest with lovely fruits and lakes like this. And he saw a lake not very far away, and he says, well, I'll go to that lake and I will try to get some water. Because, the Pandavas were very, very thirsty. So he went there, and before he can drink the water, he heard a voice saying, do not drink the water or you'll die. So, Nakul, he neglected this order, and he says he's so thirsty that, he can basically drink the whole pond. So let me just go and drink. So, when he went there, he drank the water and he fell down flat, right? And then, similarly, all the Pandavas, one after the other, they went to look for each other, basically. And the same thing happened. This voice, said, please do not drink this water. But it so happened that all of them went, and they all died, basically. And then the last person was Yudhisthira. And then he went there and he tried to drink the water, and then he heard this voice, and this voice said, please do not drink this water or you'll die like your brothers. And then Yudhisthira was struck, and he says, who are you and why shouldn't I drink this water? And then this yaksha came down, and he says, I'm the yaksha, and I'm giving you this instruction. You can only drink this water if you answer me these questions. And he posed many questions to Maharaj Yudhisthira, but I will just read some of them, and just mention some of them, and we'll try to get some nectar from these questions, right? And the first question he posed was, he said, what is the most amazing thing in this world? And, the Yudhisthira said, well, the most amazing thing is that, people are dying every day, and people can see others are dying every day, but still they think that I will live forever, right? So in this way, the yaksha was satisfied, and he says, yeah, that is true. And then he asks another question, and he says, what is faster than the wind? And Yudhisthira thought, and he says, the mind is actually faster than the wind. And we know this, right? Because we have minds ourselves, and we know how much trouble the mind gives us and how fast it can go from one place to the other. The mind is very chanchal, right? In the Bhagavad Gita, it's called very chanchala. It's very flickering. 1 minute it's here, and the next minute it's there. It's like this. So he says, yes, the mind is very flickering, and it's faster than the wind. The next question he asked was, what is more numerous than blades of grass? right? Or we can say also, what is more numerous than the grains of sand, you know? So Maharaj Yudhisthira answers, incessant desires of the living entity. The living entity has, you know, one desire after the next, after the next, after the next. As there are waves in the ocean, so too are the desires of the living entity. He has so many desires, and how is he going to fulfill all of these desires, right? So like this, you know, Maharaj Yudhisthira was giving these answers like this. So we see that he asked another question, the Yaksha asked another question, and he says, what is heavier than the mountain? Anyone can say what is heavier than a mountain? Hey? What you say? Okay, no, it's wrong. So actually, what is more heavier than a mountain? He said the answer is a mother's love. The mother's love is so intense that it leaves a great impression on the individual, on the children basically. And, you know, we find that Prabhupada even says that a mother's love comes close to Krishna Prem, you know. We don't know what Krishna Prem is because we haven't actually experienced it as yet, right? But a mother's love for her child is that which comes close to love of God, basically. So a mother's love is selfless. She will sacrifice everything for her children. You know, as I was telling you earlier on, that, you know, if there's no food and whatever little food the mother cooked, she will share it with her children and she will basically starve. So this is how selfless, you know, a mother is. And yeah, so the next question he asked is, what is higher than a mountain? So, you know, what's higher than a mountain? He says that the respect one offers to one's superiors, like parents, teachers, gurus, like this, when one offers this respect, this is higher than anything. You know, therefore we find in the Krishna consciousness movement, we pay our obeisances to the spiritual master, to the deities, like this, we offer our obeisances, and even to Vaishnavas. So like this, every morning we recite Vanchakalpa Trubhescha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So in this way, we offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. So these questions were posed basically to Maharaj Yudhisthira, and he answered them so nicely that, you know, the Yaksha was basically satisfied. And then he says, do you have any desires? And the Yaksha and Yudhisthira said, yes. Now my desire is that you bring all my brothers back to life. So then, you know, his wish was granted, and all his brothers came back to life like this. So we see that Maharaj Yudhisthira was very expert in, because he is Dharmaraj, the son of Dharmaraj, so he was very expert like this. And, you know, basically here we find that Indra is trying to usurp the horse from the sacrifice, right? And why would he do this? He's the king of heaven. He has everything at his command. You know, why would he do this? You know, we find that he owns everything, you know, and he controls everything from heaven. So why would he want to do this? But we see that Indra is basically on the bodily platform at this stage. You know, he is on the bodily platform. And he thinks that, you know, when you're on the bodily platform, you cannot really make right decisions, right? And you think that everything belongs to me. This is my position. and no one should take it away from me. So this is what Indra is thinking, that I own everything. I'm the controller of everything, and nobody should, usurp my position. And that is why he stole the horse from the sacrifice, because he was afraid that Prithu Maharaj would, if he did the 100th horse sacrifice, then he would take the position of Indra. But obviously, Prithu Maharaj we understand, was a Shaktivesh incarnation of the Lord, an empowered personality. And he wouldn't do this, but because he basically came down for a specific purpose, and that was to rule, be the emperor of the world at that point, because there was no king in place. So we see that Indra then is on the bodily platform. And to think of it very deeply, to be on the bodily platform, we take this body to be the self, to be us, right? And we find that, what is this body made up of? If we think that we are the body, what is this body made up of? It's made up of pus, urine, stool, blood, bones, right? And it's packaged very nicely. It's packaged very nicely with a thin layer of skin. And we think, this is me. Right? We are so bewildered. We think that this is me. From the time we are born, we think this is me. I'm this package of blood, bone, stool, urine, and all these obnoxious things. And we cannot go beyond that. It's only when we come to Krishna consciousness that we learn that we are not this body, but we are spirit soul. So in this way, people in this material world are thinking like this, that I am this body, I am black, I am white, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I'm Chinese, I'm Japanese, I am all of these things. And here Indra is thinking, I am Indra, the king of heaven, and nobody should usurp my power, I must protect it at all costs, whether it means me stealing the horse. I should do that to save my reputation and my position. So yes, devotees, when we are on the bodily platform, then this is how we think. Think of the time before we're coming to Krishna consciousness, right? We basically, we're on the bodily platform. We couldn't think any better. And in this way, we were relating to the body as the self, right? And nowadays, the scientists, they say that, there's no soul. There's no soul. We are this body, and the body is made up of matter. And this body is basically a bag of chemicals, right? And yet, when someone dies, then we cry. Why do we cry when someone dies? If we are just a bag of chemicals, then, or just matter, then it does not matter actually. If this body dies, it does not matter. So then why? Why do we cry, right? But we are actually, the soul that's within the body. And Prabhupada describes the soul in the Bhagavad Gita very nicely in chapter 2. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam cleryantiapo, na shoshati marataha. That the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, cannot be burned by fire, cannot be moistened by water, and cannot be withered by the wind. So this is the nature of the soul, right? And he goes on to say, there's so many verses we can quote from the second chapter of the Bhagavatam. Na jayate miryate va kadachin, nayam bhutva bhavita bhana bhuya, na, how's that? Na, what's it? Ajosh shashvato yam purano, nahanyate hanyamane sarire. Right? For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. he will not come into being, has not come into being, and will not come into being. He's unborn, eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So we find that these beautiful verses gives us an indication as to who we really are, right? And let's read the purport of this verse and see what Prabhupada has to say, right? He says, qualitatively, the small atomic fragmental part of the Supreme is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called steady or kutastha. The body is subjected to 6 kinds of transformation. It takes its birth from the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. The soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because it takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there. The soul does not die. So Prabhupada also gives the analogy of, a bird in the cage. The bird is in the cage, and you basically decorate the cage very nicely. You put some lights and some special effects on the cage. You decorate it very nicely, but you neglect to feed the soul within, at least the bird within the cage. What's going to happen? The bird is going to die. So similarly, we are decorating this body, bathing, decorating, and doing so many things, cosmetics, and all of these things. But we're neglecting the soul within. We're not doing anything for the soul. And that is our most important. That is why we have taken birth in this material world, to actually glorify Krishna and go back to him, glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and go back to where we belong, because this is not our home. We are in a foreign environment, like a fish out of water. A fish is out of water, and do you think it'll be happy on water? At least on land, it won't. You can give it the best amenities, and the fish won't be happy, right? You can give it a house by the sea and a color TV, right? It will not be happy. And only when you put the fish back into the water, then only it'll be happy, right? So similarly, we as the living entities, we are in this foreign place, and we are trying to gratify our senses and think to be happy in this material world. But we are not happy in this material world. Every time we try, we think, oh, this is going to give me happiness, right? And we try to get that thing, and to no avail. Then we say, okay, we try so many ways and means to actually be happy in this material world, but it all fails. Right? So we cannot be happy here. So unless and until we come to Krishna consciousness, because this is the innate nature of the soul, is to be the servant of God. Until and unless we come into this platform and try to serve God with all our senses, and to purify our senses, and to become eligible to go back to the spiritual world, then only will we be happy in Krishna consciousness. Like that. So let's continue reading. Anything which has birth also has death, and because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old, or the body as the body does. The so-called old man therefore feels to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul, we find this, that we are growing older, right? And all of us are basically come to the point of adulthood, but we feel that, I haven't really gone old, because the soul is eternal. And we, it's only the body that is subjected to change. And we feel like a young man, when we see Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu dancing away in Kirtan, like a young man, So this is the soul that is actually dancing within the body, right? So because it is connected to Krishna, and you are given this strength to actually dance like this, like a young man. So yes, the soul doesn't grow old, right? And we feel like we're the same. We haven't actually changed much, like that, because the soul is not subjected to birth and death and disease and all of these things that the body goes through, right? So-called old men therefore feel themselves to be in the same spirit as in his youth and childhood and youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproducts either. The byproduct of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls, and owing to the body, they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the body has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore, the soul is free from the 6 bodily changes. So yes, we may think that this is my child, Prabhupada says here that, the children are also spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna, but they're given to a particular person to take care of, And you may think that this is my children. No, these are not your children. You may think that, whatever I tell them, they should listen and they should do as I say. But actually, whatever the Supreme Personality of Godhead says, that is what we should do, right? So, and obviously, we take instructions from our superiors as well. But, so in this way, if you understand that your children are also part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then, in this way, you understand that they are spirit souls as well. I know of many devotee parents, who won't allow their children to join the temple because they feel that this child has come out of my body and, he should basically serve me, So this is a wrong mentality. There were kids, previously who wanted to join the temple, devotee kids who wanted to join the temple, and the parents, they said, never, you are not joining the temple, so you should work and you should basically support us like this, because we have sacrificed so much for you. So this is, a very cheating mentality in one sense. It's, all of us have these 4 defects, right? And the cheating mentality is there. So this is like a cheating mentality. No, you should not join the temple. You should work and you should support us. So in this way, this is on the bodily platform. And if we think like this, then we cannot make advancement in spiritual life. So just imagine if the child did join the temple, and how much of benefit the parents would have got, just by the child joining the temple, and especially dedicating their whole lives to serving the Supreme Lord, preaching like this. So how much of benefits the parents would have made in this way. So, but we see that people are very selfish. Even being devotees, they're very selfish. So we should come out of this mentality and, come out of this bodily platform of life, basically. We learn that we are not this body, but we haven't put it into practice as yet, right? And from time to time, Krishna will give us some tests to make us understand that, hey, I'm not this body, right? And we go through so many difficulties in our lives just to bring us out of this bodily platform and to situate us to be aloof of this bodily platform. We go through these difficulties even whilst being a devotee. We go through these difficulties so that we can get out of this cycle of birth and death, get out of this bodily platform. So Here, Prabhupada quotes the Katha Upanishad 1-18, and he says, there's a similar verse, Najayate miryate vipaschin nayam kutaschinna bhavu va kaschit ajonitya shashvatayam purana nahanyate hanyamane sarire. The meaning and purport of this verse is the same as in the Bhagavad Gita, but here in this verse there is a special word vipaschit, which means learned with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge, or full always with consciousness. Therefore consciousness is the symptom of the soul. So consciousness is symptom of the soul. When the soul is within the body, we feel consciousness, right? If someone pinches us, we feel the pain, right? But if the soul leaves the body, the person is dead, and you can do whatever you want to the body, it'll never retaliate, right? So in some traditions, the body is burned. In some traditions, it is buried. You know, in some other traditions, it is put on the rooftop so the vultures can feast on it, like this. So there's different ways that one gets rid of the body, right? Nobody wants a dead body lying around, no matter how beautiful the person may have been when he was within the body, right? But when the person dies, when the body, he is no more in the body starts to decay and it starts to stink. So you don't want a dead body lying around, right? So in this way, you know, we have to get rid of the body. Yeah. So let's just try to finish this purport. Okay, I don't think I can finish this purport because I just have 3 minutes left. But we'll just read towards the end of this purport what Prabhupada has to say. He quotes another verse from the Katha Upanishad. Both the super soul Paramatma and the atomic soul Jivatma are situated on the same tree of the body, within the same heart of the living being, and only one who has become free from all material desires, as well as lamentation, can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. So yes, so Prabhupada makes a point here that the Jivatma and the Paramatma are on the same, situated in the same heart, right? And the soul, Prabhupada describes this in other places, that the Jivatma is eating the fruits of the tree, you know, like they are compared to two birds on the tree, and you know, the one bird is eating the fruits of the tree, and the other bird is witnessing, the Paramatma is witnessing all the activities that the living entity is basically doing. So in this way, we get our due karmic reactions, action and reaction, right? We get our karmic reactions in this way. So yes, Krishna is a fountainhead and the super soul also, as it will be disclosed in the following chapters. And Arjuna is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna, or by a bona fide representative, the spiritual master. So, yes, devotees, we need to be enlightened by the spiritual master as to who we really are and what is our purpose in this life, and how to, you know, go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and no more taking births in this material world, samsara, birth and death, right? It's compared to a Ferris wheel. And you know, you're going up, you're going to the heavenly planets, you're going to middle planetary systems, and you're going down, you know, up, around and round, you know. But we need to get out of the cycle of birth and death altogether and live eternally with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his spiritual abode, the spiritual kingdom, Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan. So in this way, you know, by taking up to the process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, chanting, remembering, hearing about the glories of the Lord, serving the Lord in the temple like this, we can actually make progress to the spiritual abode. So thank you very much. I'll stop here. If you'd like to comment, you're most welcome to. Hare Krishna. If no one has anything to say, then we'll stop. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.